Girl returns purse with money, but the owner's reaction leaves her speechless. Emily was running down the main avenue of Phoenix when she tripped and saw the black leather purse on the ground, with money bills spilling out from the half-open bag. Her eyes widened as she realized the amount of money inside, more than she had ever seen in her entire life. The 12-year-old girl held the purse tightly, looking around to see if anyone had dropped it. That's when she spotted an elegant woman standing in front of the Grand Hotel, nervously fumbling through her own bag and glancing around in desperation. "Excuse me, ma'am," Emily approached, holding out the black purse. "Did you drop this?" The woman in the red dress and pearl earrings turned abruptly. Her eyes scanned Emily from head to toe, taking in her simple, wrinkled beige dress and worn-out sneakers. The look of relief that had begun to form on the woman's face quickly twisted into disgust. "Get your dirty hands off my purse," Victoria Parker shouted, taking a step back. "How dare you touch my things?" Emily froze, still holding the purse out. People nearby began to stop and stare, forming a small, curious crowd. "I just wanted to return it, ma'am. I saw you looking and—" "Liar!" Victoria yelled, drawing even more attention. "You stole my purse and now you want to play the saint. Security! Security!" A hotel guard hurried over, followed by the manager. Emily felt tears welling up as whispers spread through the crowd. "What's going on here?" asked the manager, Mr. Thompson, a middle-aged man in an impeccable uniform. This filthy child stole my purse." Victoria pointed a trembling finger at Emily. "I want the authorities called immediately." "I didn't steal anything," Emily managed between sobs. "I found the purse on the ground and just wanted to return it. I swear it's true." A candy vendor who had witnessed everything stepped forward. "I saw it all," said Mrs. Jenkins, a woman in her 60s. "The girl picked up the purse from the sidewalk over there and came straight to give it to you. She didn't do anything wrong." Victoria turned furiously to the vendor. "And who are you to interfere? You must be her accomplice. I'll sue both of you for theft and criminal conspiracy." Mr. Thompson watched the scene with growing discomfort. There was something familiar about the girl's face, but he couldn't place it. "Let's all calm down and sort this out," he said. "Young lady, tell me exactly what happened." Emily wiped her tears with the back of her hand. "I was running to catch the bus when I tripped. When I got up, I saw the purse on the ground with money spilling out. I looked around and saw this lady in front of the hotel, so I came to return it." "Why were you running?" Victoria demanded accusingly. "My mum's in the hospital, and I needed to get there before visiting hours ended." The manager turned to Victoria. "Ma'am, the girl has your purse. Why don't you check if everything's there so we can settle this?" Victoria hesitated for a moment before snatching the purse from Emily's hands with unnecessary force. "Of course I'll check. I bet she's already taken something." As Victoria rummaged through the purse, Emily noticed her hands trembling slightly. It wasn't just anger, there was something else. "Oh my God," Victoria murmured, suddenly stopping. "What is it?" asked the manager. "It's nothing," Victoria said quickly, closing the purse. But Emily had seen what startled her, an old photo tucked at the bottom. "Ma'am, if everything's in order, there's no issue," Mr. Thompson said. "The girl was honest in returning it." "Of course there's an issue," Victoria exploded again. "This girl touched my things. Who knows what diseases she might have passed on to my belongings?" Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us newcomers a lot. Now continuing, the public humiliation made Emily want to disappear. The people around began whispering among themselves, some shaking their heads disapprovingly at Victoria Parker, others looking at Emily with pity. "What's your mother's name, dear?" Mr. Thompson asked kindly. "Deborah. Deborah Collins," Emily answered, wiping her nose on her dress sleeve. Victoria Parker's reaction was immediate. She turned completely pale, almost dropping her purse again. What did you say?" "Deborah Collins," Emily repeated, looking confused at the woman. Mr. Thompson smacked his forehead. "Of course. Now I know where I've seen that little face before. You're Deborah's daughter, the one who worked here for 20 years. She was one of the best employees we ever had." Victoria Parker took several steps back, as if she'd been punched in the stomach. You know my mother. Emily asked, surprised. Of course I do. Your mother cleaned this hotel for years. A hard-working woman like no other. Why isn't she working here anymore? She got sick last month. The doctors said years of strain ruined her back. Now she can't work. Victoria Parker gripped her purse so tightly her knuckles turned white. She stared at Emily as if seeing a ghost. "Ma'am?" Emily addressed Victoria Parker. "Are you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." I don't know your mother," Victoria Parker managed to say in a shaky voice. "I've never heard of her." But her reaction said otherwise. Mrs. Jenkins, who had been watching everything, stepped closer. "Sweetheart, what's your mother's full name?" "Deborah Collins Parker. She used her maiden name at work because she said it was easier." Victoria Parker let out a low whimper. Mr. Thompson looked from one to the other, starting to understand. "Parker," he murmured. "Ma'am, your last name is Parker too, isn't it?" "That doesn't mean anything." Victoria Parker defended herself, but her voice came out higher than usual. "It's a common last name." An elderly gentleman who had been observing from a distance approached the group. It was Dr. Wilson, a retired lawyer who had frequented the hotel for decades. "Excuse me," he said, looking straight at Victoria Parker. "Aren't you Victoria Parker, Deborah's sister?" Victoria Parker nearly fainted. She leaned against the hotel wall, breathing heavily. "Dr. Wilson," she whispered, "what are you doing here?" "I live nearby, and I recognized your voice from far away. You screamed the same way as a child." Emily looked back and forth, trying to understand. "You know each other?" she asked. "What did he mean about being my mother's sister?" Victoria Parker squeezed her eyes shut, as if she could make the situation disappear. "Tell her, Victoria," Dr. Wilson said firmly, "or I will." "Tell me what?" Emily grew more confused by the second. Victoria Parker slowly opened her eyes, tears streaming down her perfectly made-up cheeks. I'm your aunt," she whispered so softly it was almost inaudible. The silence that followed was deafening. Emily blinked several times as if she hadn't understood. "My aunt." "Your older aunt," Dr. Wilson confirmed. "Your mother's sister." "But why did you talk to me like that?" Emily asked, her voice filled with pain. "Why did you call me dirty and a thief?" Victoria Parker couldn't stop crying. Her makeup was smeared, and she looked like she'd aged 10 years in minutes. "I didn't know," she murmured. "I didn't know you were—" "Didn't know?" Emily shouted, all her humiliation turning to rage. "Did you not know I was your niece, or did you not know I was poor?" The words hit Victoria like knives. She doubled over, clutching her stomach as if in physical pain. "Please, let me explain." "Explain what?" Mrs. Jenkins cut in. "That you treated a child like trash because she didn't wear expensive clothes." The hotel manager was embarrassed by the whole scene unfolding at the entrance. "Everyone, why don't we talk somewhere more private?" "No," Emily yelled. "She humiliated me in front of everyone. Now she'll explain herself in front of everyone." Victoria lifted her tear-streaked face. "You're right, you have every right to be angry with me." "Why did you never show up in our lives?" Emily asked, her own tears returning. "My mother worked herself to the bone. There were days we didn't even have food. Where were you?" I sent money." "Lies," Emily interrupted. "If you had, we wouldn't have gone hungry." Dr. Wilson sighed heavily. "She did send it, child. Your mother returned it all." Emily turned to him, stunned. "What do you mean, returned it?" "Your mother was very proud. Every time Victoria sent money, she sent it back with a note saying she didn't need help from someone who'd abandoned them." "Abandoned?" Emily stared at Victoria. "You abandoned my mother?" Victoria leaned harder against the wall. "It's a very long story." "I have time," Emily said, crossing her arms. Mrs. Jenkins pulled out a plastic chair from her candy stall. "Sit here, dear. And you too, Mrs. Parker." Victoria hesitated, but finally sat in a chair the manager brought. Emily remained standing, arms crossed, waiting. "Your mother and I were very close as children," Victoria began, avoiding Emily's gaze. "We lost our parents young and were raised by our grandmother. The great-grandmother you knew. Knew. Grandma Ruth is still alive. She is? Victoria's eyes widened. She must be nearly 90. She's 92, and she never mentioned you. The pain on Victoria's face deepened. I suppose not. When I turned 18, I met Richard Parker, a wealthy man 20 years older than me. He fell in love and wanted to marry me. So? Richard wouldn't accept my family. He said they were too simple, that they didn't fit his social standing. He wanted me to cut ties with all of you. And you did, Emily said, not as a question but a statement. I was young, foolish. I thought it'd be temporary, that once we were married, I could convince him to accept you. But you couldn't. Richard was controlling. He forbade me from contacting my family. And when he found out your mother was pregnant and unmarried, Victoria paused as if the words were too hard to say. So? Emily pressed. He was furious. Said our family was a disgrace, that people like you only brought trouble. He gave me an ultimatum. Choose between him or you. And you chose him. I chose what I thought was best at the time. I thought Deborah would manage, that she was strong. She is strong, Emily shouted. But that doesn't mean she didn't need help, especially from her own sister. Victoria was sobbing now. I know it was the worst decision of my life. And your husband, where is he now? Richard passed away 5 years ago. And do you know what his last words to me were at the hospital? Emily didn't answer, just waited. He said I'd made the right choice, that poor families only bring trouble. He died believing that. And you? Do you still believe that? Victoria shook her head fiercely. No, these last 5 years have been the loneliest of my life. I discovered that money can't replace family, can't replace true love. Emily sat in the chair Mrs. Jenkins had brought. Why did you come back now? Because I'm sick, Victoria said, her voice almost inaudible. The doctors found a tumor last month. The air seemed to leave Emily's lungs. A tumor. It's not something that threatens my life immediately, but it made me realize time is passing, that I could leave without ever asking my sister for forgiveness. And why exactly did you come here? Victoria opened her purse and pulled out several papers. I came to bring the house documents. What house? The house where you live. It's been in my name for years. Emily jumped to her feet. What do you mean in your name? When Richard died, I found out he'd bought the house from your grandmother over 10 years ago. He didn't want you to be left without a place to live. But he also didn't want you to know the money came from me. You mean, you were never at risk of eviction? The house is yours. It always has been. Emily sat back down, dizzy from the revelation. But Grandma always worried about the rent, because she didn't know. Richard paid the former owner directly and said it was an investment. I only found out the truth after he died. Dr. Wilson approached. It's true, dear. I helped Richard with the paperwork at the time. He was complicated, but he didn't want to see his wife's family on the streets. Then why didn't you tell my mother when he died? I tried, Victoria said. For 5 years I've been trying to talk to Deborah. I sent letters, tried to visit, but she never wanted to see me. And today, why did you come here? Victoria hesitated. I came to officially hand over the house documents to you, and... She paused, swallowing hard. And to ask to see my sister one last time. One last time? The tumor is growing. I may not have much time left to fix the mistakes of the past. Emily felt a lump in her throat. As angry as she was at her aunt, imagining she could, that time might run out, was too much to process. Where were you staying? Here at the hotel. I've been here a week, trying to gather the courage to look for you. A week? Mr. Thompson interrupted. You've been here a week, and I didn't know you were Deborah's sister. I used my married name, Victoria Parker Wilson. Emily looked at her aunt, really seeing her for the first time. Behind the smudged makeup and expensive dress, she could see similarities with her mother. The shape of her eyes, the way she moved her hands when nervous. Does my mother know you're here? No, I wanted to talk to her but didn't know how. Today I was going to try going to your house, but I dropped my purse and I found you, Emily finished. Maybe it was fate, Mrs. Jenkins said, for you two to meet. Victoria looked at her niece. "Can you take me to see your mother?" Emily took a deep breath. Part of her wanted to say no, to make Victoria suffer as they had suffered. But another part, the part that had inherited her mother's kindness, knew she couldn't live with that guilt. "She's in the hospital now." "I know. I heard she was sick, and that was one of the reasons I came." "How did you know?" "Dr. Wilson told me. He's known your family for a long time." Emily looked at the elderly lawyer. "It's true. Your great-grandmother asked me to help when your mother needed to be hospitalized. That's when I found out Victoria was in town. And you didn't tell my mother? I thought Victoria should be the one to take the first step." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, continuing. Emily fell silent for a few minutes, processing everything she'd just learned. Her life had completely changed in less than an hour. "Okay," she finally said, "I'll take you to see my mother, but on one condition." "What?" "You'll have to apologize, sincerely, and if she doesn't want to see you, you'll respect that and leave." Victoria nodded vigorously. "I'll accept any condition." "And one more thing," Emily continued. "Stop lying. If you're truly sorry, quit trying to seem perfect. Be honest about your mistakes." "You're right," Victoria admitted. "I acted horribly toward you today. Even though I didn't know you were my niece, I shouldn't have treated you that way." "Why did you?" Victoria took a deep breath. "Because I became a bitter person. Years living with Richard made me think poor people were inferior. I know it's awful to say, but it's the truth. And now? Now I know I was wrong. Completely wrong. You returned my purse without taking anything, even though you needed money. That shows more character than I've had all these years." Emily stood up. "Let's go then. My mother is at Mercy Hospital." "I can call you a taxi," offered Mr. Thompson. "Thank you," said Emily. As they waited for the taxi, Victoria asked, "Can you tell me how your life has been all these years?" Emily hesitated, but decided her aunt needed to hear the truth. "It wasn't easy. My mother worked 3 jobs for a long time. She cleaned the hotel in the morning, cared for the elderly in the afternoon, and cleaned houses at night." Victoria closed her eyes as if the words pained her. "And you?" "I helped Grandma Ruth. She took care of me while my mother worked, but Grandma is very old, so I ended up doing a lot on my own." "What kind of things?" "Cooking, cleaning, going to the market. Normal stuff." "At 12? "Since I was 8. There was no other way." Victoria opened her eyes, fresh tears falling. "I'm sorry. I'm sorry I wasn't there to help." "Sorry doesn't change the past," Emily said, "but it can change the future." The taxi arrived, and they rode in silence. On the way to the hospital, Victoria asked, "What's wrong with your mother?" "The doctors said it's spinal problems from overexertion, and something with her stomach, from stress and poor diet." "Poor diet?" "We ate what we could. Sometimes there wasn't money left for food after paying the bills." Each word felt like a stab to Victoria. She had lived in abundance while her sister and niece struggled. "And the treatment? Is it expensive?" "Very. That's why my mother didn't want to do it at first. She only agreed when the pain made it impossible to work." "How are you paying for it?" "Grandma Ruth sold some old jewelry that belonged to my great-grandmother, and Dr. Wilson helped get us a discount at the hospital." Victoria stared out the taxi window, lost in thought. All that hardship could have been avoided if she'd had the courage to stand up to Richard, to fight for her family. "Emily," she said, "can I pay for your mother's treatment?" "I don't know. That's up to her." "But do you think she'll accept? After everything that happened, I think she'll want to talk to you first." They arrived at the hospital, and Emily led Victoria through the halls. Both were visibly nervous. Victoria because she didn't know how she'd be received, Emily because she didn't know how her mother would react to the surprise. "Here we are," Emily said, stopping outside room 237. Victoria took a deep breath. "How do I look?" "Your makeup is smudged and you're shaking," Emily answered honestly. Victoria tried to fix herself, but her hands trembled too much. "Leave it," Emily said. "It's better she sees you as you really are." Emily knocked and entered. "Hi, Mum. I brought someone to see you." Deborah was lying in bed, reading an old magazine. Upon hearing her daughter's voice, she smiled and looked toward the door. When she saw Victoria standing in the doorway, the magazine slipped from her hands. The silence that followed seemed to last an eternity. The two sisters stared at each other, 25 years of separation between them. "Deborah," Victoria whispered. "Victoria," Deborah replied, her voice barely audible. Emily looked from one to the other, unsure of what to do. She decided to step in. "Mom, let her explain everything before you get upset." Deborah tried to adjust herself in bed, wincing in pain. "Let me help you," Victoria said instinctively, moving closer. "I'm fine," Deborah replied, though without the coldness Emily had expected. Victoria stopped mid-step, respecting her sister's space. "Are you okay?" she asked. "Emily told me you've been sick." "I'm better," Deborah answered, glancing at her daughter. "Emily, could you give us a few minutes alone?" "Are you sure, Mum?" "Yes. Go grab a snack in the cafeteria. Here's some money." Deborah held out a few bills. "You don't have to, Mum. I can—" "Go, sweetheart. Your aunt and I need to talk." Emily hesitated, but finally left the room, closing the door behind her. For the first time in over 2 decades, the sisters were alone. "You've changed," Deborah said. "So have you," Victoria replied. "Thinner." "Hard work does that to you." Victoria lowered her head. "Deborah, You what?" "I'm sorry. For everything." Deborah was silent for a long moment. "Why did you come back, Victoria?" "Because I'm sick. And because I couldn't live with the guilt anymore." "Sick how?" "A tumor. It's not fatal, but it made me think about life, about the choices I made." Deborah sighed. "And what do you want from me?" "Forgiveness," Victoria said simply. "I know I don't deserve it, but I'm asking anyway." "Do you have any idea what we went through all these years?" "Emily told me a little, and I imagined it wasn't easy." "Imagining and living are 2 different things," Deborah said, though without anger. "There were nights I cried myself to sleep, wondering where my sister was. I know. I cried too, wanting to come home, but too proud to admit I'd made a mistake." "Pride," Deborah repeated. "That's what really tore us apart." "It was. My pride and Richard's influence." "How did he die?" "Heart disease. His last years were rough. I found out he hid a lot from me." "Like what?" Victoria told her about the house, about Richard secretly paying the rent, about all the offers of help that had been refused. "I never knew any of that," Deborah admitted. "I thought you'd completely forgotten about us." "We never forgot. I never forgot." Deborah gazed out the hospital window. "You know what hurt the most all these years?" "What?" "Watching my daughter grow up without knowing her aunt. She always asked why we had no family besides Grandma Ruth." "What did you tell her?" "That our family was far away. I could never bring myself to speak badly of you to her." Victoria began to cry again. "Even after I abandoned you, you never said anything bad about me. You're my sister. No matter what happened, I could never truly hate you. So, do you forgive me?" Deborah hesitated. "It's hard, Victoria. I can't pretend I didn't miss you, that I didn't need you. But I also can't pretend 25 years didn't happen. I understand. Let me get to know who you are now, the Victoria of today. And you can get to know me too. We're not the same people we were back then." "That's fair," Victoria agreed. "And Emily? Do you want to get to know your niece?" "Very much, if she'll let me. She's a special girl. Had to grow up too fast because of everything we've been through. I could tell. She taught me a lesson today I'll never forget." "What happened?" Victoria recounted the whole story, meeting Emily, the public humiliation, the revelations. Deborah listened silently, occasionally nodding her head. "You treated my daughter poorly," she said when Victoria finished speaking. "I did, and I deeply regret it." "Why did you do it?" Because I became a bitter, prejudiced person. Richard influenced me greatly, but the fault is mine for allowing it. And now? Now I want to try to make things right, if you'll let me. Deborah grew thoughtful. Let's take it slow. We can't make up for 25 years in one day. Of course, however you want. And about the money, Victoria, I don't want your charity. It's not charity. It's responsibility. I should have helped you all these years. Even so, if you want to help, it has to be as family. Not as a rich person helping a poor one. How would that work? I don't know yet. We'll figure it out together. At that moment, Emily returned to the room carrying 3 sodas. I brought enough for everyone, she said, offering one to each. Thank you, dear, said Deborah. Thank you, said Victoria. Emily sat in the chair beside the bed. Did you two talk? We did, Deborah replied, and we decided we're going to try being family again. Slowly, Victoria added, respecting each other's pace. What about you, Emily? Deborah asked. How do you feel about having an aunt? Emily thought for a moment. I think it'll be strange at first, but I also think it could be good. Grandma Ruth is very old, and sometimes it's too much for one person to take care of everyone alone. You won't have to do it all by yourself anymore, Victoria said. Now there are more people to share the responsibilities. But I don't want to stop helping, Emily said quickly. I like taking care of Grandma and Mum. Of course you won't stop, Victoria smiled for the first time since they'd met. But it won't be just you anymore. Aunt Victoria, Emily said, testing the words. Can I ask you something? Of course. Do you really regret how you treated me today? Very much. It was the ugliest thing I've ever done. And if I wasn't your niece, would you still regret it? The question caught Victoria off guard. She thought carefully before answering. I should regret it. No child deserves to be treated that way, no matter who they are. But to be honest, I might not have reflected as deeply on my actions if you were a stranger. At least you're honest, Emily said. Most adults would lie. I promise to always try to be honest with you both. And we promise the same, Deborah said. They talked for another hour. Victoria shared about her married life, how lonely she'd felt despite having plenty of money. Deborah and Emily told her about their days, their struggles, and the happy moments they'd shared together. Mum, Emily said, I think it's time Aunt Victoria meets Grandma Ruth. Deborah's eyes widened. You haven't told her yet. Told me what? That Grandma is here in the hospital too. What do you mean? Victoria stood up, alarmed. She fell ill yesterday. High blood pressure. She's admitted upstairs. Is she all right? Yes. But she's 92, so anything is worrying. Can I see her? I can ask her, Emily said, but I should warn you, she might not want to see you. Why? She never talked about you, but whenever someone mentioned your name, she'd get very sad. Victoria felt even worse. I'll go with you, Deborah said, trying to get up. Mom, you can't leave bed yet. Yes, I can. The doctor said I can walk a little. With Emily's help, Deborah slowly stood. Victoria instinctively reached out to assist, but hesitated. You can help, Deborah said. We're family. The 3 went up 1 floor, walking slowly for Deborah's sake, and arrived at room 344. Grandma, Emily entered first. Can we come in? Of course, my sweet girl. How's your mother? Better. And I brought a surprise for you. What surprise? Emily signaled for Deborah to come in. When Grandma Ruth saw her daughter, her face lit up. Deborah, what are you doing out of bed? I came to visit you, Mom, and I brought someone with me. Who? Deborah looked at Victoria, who was still in the hallway. You can come in, Deborah said. Victoria entered slowly, as if walking to her own judgment. When Grandma Ruth saw Victoria, she froze. Her eyes instantly filled with tears. Victoria, she whispered. Hi, Grandma, Victoria said, her voice choked. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, continuing. Grandma Ruth tried to sit up in bed, but she was too weak. Come here, she said, stretching out her trembling arms. Victoria approached the bed hesitantly. When she got close enough, Grandma Ruth pulled her into a tight hug. "My girl," she sobbed. "My girl is finally back." Victoria broke down in tears. She knelt beside the bed, letting her grandmother hold her as if she were a child again. "I'm sorry, Grandma. I'm sorry for disappearing." "It doesn't matter." Grandma Ruth stroked Victoria's hair. "You're back. That's all that matters." Deborah and Emily watched the scene, moved. Despite all the pain, it was impossible not to be emotional seeing the reunion. "I thought I'd never see you again," Grandma Ruth said. "Every day I prayed for you to come back." "I wanted to come back, but I didn't know how. Are you okay? You look beautiful, but so thin." "I'm fine, Grandma. And you? How are you feeling?" "I'm better now. My family is all here with me." Victoria looked at Deborah and Emily. "All here," she repeated, realizing she was included again. "Victoria," Grandma Ruth said, "tell me everything. How was your life all these years?" Victoria told her story again, this time with more details. Her grandmother listened in silence, sometimes shaking her head, sometimes sighing. "That Richard was no good," she said when Victoria finished. "A man who breaks up a family is no good." "You're right, Grandma. But you've learned, and now you're here." "I am, if you'll have me back." "Of course we will," Grandma Ruth said. "Family is family." "Grandma," Emily said, "Aunt Victoria is sick too." "Sick how?" Victoria explained about the tumor. Grandma Ruth grew worried. "Are you getting treatment?" "I am. The doctors say the chances are good." "Thank goodness. I don't want to lose you again." "You won't, Grandma. I promise." They kept talking until visiting hours were over. When it was time to leave, Grandma Ruth held Victoria's hand. "Will you come back tomorrow?" "I will, every day if you'd like." "I'd like that, and I want you to get to know your niece better. She's a special girl." "I can already tell." On the way out of the hospital, the three walked in silence. There was so much to process. "Aunt Victoria," Emily said, "where are you staying?" "At the hotel." "Why?" "Just curious." "Actually," Deborah said, "I was thinking..." "Victoria, would you like to have dinner with us at home tonight?" Victoria stopped walking. "You'd really invite me?" "Of course. Your family. But I don't want to intrude." "You're not," Emily said. "Besides, someone needs to see where we live, to understand how we've lived all these years." Victoria understood this was part of reconnecting. She needed to see the reality of her sister and niece's life. "Then I accept. Thank you." They took another taxi to the house. During the ride, Emily explained, "Our house is very simple, not what you're probably used to." "Emily," Victoria said, "I grew up in that house. That's where I spent my childhood with your mom and your grandma." "That's true," Deborah said. "Sometimes I forget you lived there too." They arrived at the neighborhood where the house was located. It was a working-class area with narrow streets and small attached houses. Victoria recognized some landmarks, but much had changed. "This is it," said Emily, stopping in front of a small house with a green gate and a well-kept garden. Victoria looked at the house, and the memories came rushing back all at once. She remembered playing in the yard with Deborah, helping her grandmother in the kitchen, doing homework at the living room table. "It's smaller than I remembered," she said. "It is small," Emily replied, "but it's ours." They entered the house. Victoria observed everything carefully. The living room was simple, with an old but clean sofa, a small television and a few plants. Everything was tidy and neat, but the signs of financial struggle were visible. "Have a seat," said Deborah. "I'll make dinner." "Let me help," Victoria offered. "Do you know how to cook?" "I learned after Richard died. I had to figure out a lot of things on my own." "Then let's cook together," Deborah said. Emily offered to help too, and the three of them went to the kitchen. It was small, but functional. Victoria noticed there weren't many utensils, and some were quite old. "What are we making?" Victoria asked. "Rice and beans, fried eggs and salad," Emily said. "That's what's in the fridge." "Perfect," Victoria replied. "It's been a while since I've had a real home-cooked meal." As they cooked, They talked about simple things. Deborah shared about her work at the hotel, Emily talked about school, and Victoria told a few stories from her married life. "Aunt Victoria," Emily said while chopping tomatoes for the salad, "can I ask you something personal?" "Of course. Did you and your husband ever want children?" Victoria stopped stirring the beans. "We did. We tried for many years." "What happened?" "It just didn't work out. And over time, Richard grew bitter because of it. I think that's one reason he didn't want family around. He saw you all as a reminder of what he couldn't have." "That's so sad," Emily said. "It was. And maybe if we'd had children, he would have understood the importance of family better." "Or maybe not," Deborah added. "Some people are just bitter by nature." "Maybe you're right." When dinner was ready, they sat at the small kitchen table. Victoria looked at the simple plate in front of her and remembered all the elaborate meals she had at home. "How is it?" Deborah asked. Victoria took a bite. "It's delicious. Much better than any expensive restaurant." "Why?" "Because it was made with love, and with family." After dinner, they sat in the living room to talk more. Victoria asked about Emily's school and her dreams for the future. "I want to be a doctor," Emily said, "so I can take better care of my family and help other people too." "That's a beautiful dream," Victoria replied, "and I'd like to help you make it happen." "How?" "By paying for your education. Medical school is expensive, but you deserve that opportunity." Emily looked at her mother. "Mom, what do you think?" "I think it's a conversation we should have calmly," Deborah said. "Let's get to know each other better first, become a real family. Then we'll think about the future." "Of course," Victoria agreed. "It's just an offer. Whenever you're ready." "Aunt Victoria," Emily said, "can I show you my room?" "Of course." They went up a narrow, tight staircase. Emily's room was tiny, with a single bed, a small desk, and a few shelves of books. "It's small," Emily said, "but I like it. I have my books, my space to study." Victoria sat on the bed and looked around. The walls were decorated with drawings Emily had made, some school certificates, and a photo of her with Deborah and Grandma Ruth. "You're very organized," Victoria noted. "I have to be. Small space forces you to stay tidy." "And you study here?" "I do. Sometimes I stay up late doing homework." "And your mother doesn't complain?" "She's proud. She says education is the only thing no one can take away from me." Victoria Parker was moved. "Your mother is right, and she raised you very well." "She's the best mom in the world," said Emily. "Even with all the difficulties, she always did her best to give me what she could." "I can see that, and I deeply regret not having helped." "Aunt Victoria," Emily sat beside her, "can I tell you something?" "Of course." "Today, when you humiliated me in front of everyone, I was so angry. I never wanted to see you again. And now I see you truly regret it, and that you want to make things right. I really do. Then I forgive you for your mistakes and how you treated me today." Victoria hugged her niece, crying once more. "Thank you. You have no idea how much this means to me. Just promise me one thing." "What?" "That you'll never treat anyone badly because of money or appearances again. I promise, never again." They went back downstairs to the living room where Deborah was waiting. "Mom," said Emily, "I forgave Aunt Victoria for the past and for today." Deborah smiled. "I'm glad. I think we all deserve a second chance." "And you, Deborah?" asked Victoria. "Do you forgive me too?" "I'm trying," Deborah answered honestly. "It's not easy to forget so many years of absence, but I want to try. That's all I can ask for." "Victoria," Deborah said, "I have a proposal for you." "What?" "How about leaving that hotel and coming to stay with us for a while?" Victoria's eyes widened. "Here? Why not? The house is small, but there's a little room in the back we can fix up. This way we can get to know each other better, and you'll be close to Grandma Ruth too." "You'd do that for me?" "Your family," said Emily. "Family takes care of family." Victoria looked around the small living room, imagining her life there. So different from the mansion she'd shared with Richard, yet so much warmer. "I accept," she said, "if you're sure." "We are," Deborah replied. but with a few rules. What? No trying to completely change our routine, no solving everything with money, and most importantly, respecting our way of life. I accept all the rules. And one more thing, added Emily. You'll have to learn to live like we do. Grocery shopping, cooking, cleaning. I want to learn, Victoria said. I want to learn how to truly be part of this family. That night, Victoria returned to the hotel to pack and check out. As she packed, she reflected on how much her life had changed in just one day. That morning, she'd been a bitter, lonely widow. By evening, she had a family again. The next day, Victoria moved in. The little room in the back was indeed small, but she felt more at home there than she ever had in the mansion. The first weeks were an adjustment. Victoria had to learn to embrace simplicity, but she found herself happier than she'd been in years. She accompanied Deborah and Grandma Ruth to Mercy Hospital, helped Emily with her studies, and learned to cook simple but tasty meals. "How are you feeling?" Deborah asked one day as they prepared lunch together. "Better than I have in years," Victoria replied. "You know, I didn't realize how empty my life was without you all." "Ours was incomplete too," Deborah admitted. "Even with all the hurt, we always missed you." "Really? Really? You were my oldest sister, my role model. When you left, I felt lost. I'm sorry. For everything." "No more apologies. We're building something new now." A month later, Grandma Ruth was discharged from the hospital. Victoria went to pick her up with Deborah and Emily. "It's so good to be home," said Grandma Ruth, settling into her favorite armchair in the living room. "It's so good to have you home, Grandma," said Victoria. "And how wonderful to have my whole family together again," Grandma replied. That afternoon, the 4 generations of women in the family sat in the living room to talk. Grandma Ruth shared stories from the past. Deborah spoke about her plans once she fully recovered. Emily shared her dreams for the future. And Victoria opened up about her ideas to help the family. "You know what I've learned all this time?" said Victoria. "What?" asked Emily. "That true wealth isn't about having money. It's about having family, having love, having people who care about you." "It took you a while to learn, but you got there," said Grandma Ruth, smiling. "And now?" asked Deborah. "What are your plans?" "My plans are to stay here with you, for as long as you'll have me around." "Forever, then," said Emily. 6 months later, the family's life had settled into a new rhythm. Deborah had fully recovered and gone back to work, though now only at one job, since Victoria insisted on helping with household expenses. Emily continued to excel in school, now with Victoria's support to buy books and supplies. Grandma Ruth had grown stronger from the happiness of having the family reunited. Victoria had discovered a passion for cooking and taking care of the house. She, who had always had servants for everything, now found joy in household chores done with love. "Aunt Victoria," Emily said one day, "I have a surprise for you." "What surprise?" Emily handed her a piece of paper, her report card, with top grades in every subject. "Congratulations," Victoria hugged her niece. "You're so smart." "Thank you. And there's more." "What?" "My teacher said if I keep this up, I could get a scholarship to a good private high school." "That's wonderful. And after that?" "Then I'll study for the medical school entrance exam. With or without help, I'll make it." "With help," said Victoria. "I promised I'd help you achieve that dream." "Thank you, Aunt, for everything. Thank you for forgiving me a chance to be part of your life." That night, the 4 of them sat in the living room, as had become their custom. Grandma Ruth was knitting, Deborah was reading a magazine, Emily was studying, and Victoria was organizing some papers. "Family," Grandma Ruth suddenly said. "What is it, Grandma?" asked Deborah. "Nothing. I just wanted to say that word, family." They all smiled. That's what they were now, a complete family, one that had gone through separation and reunion, hurt and forgiveness, struggles and triumph. "You know what I was thinking?" said Victoria. "What?" the other 3 asked. "If I hadn't dropped that purse, if Emily hadn't found it, maybe we never would have been reunited." "Fate," said Grandma Ruth. "Some things happen because they're meant to." "I think you're right, Grandma." "And you know what else?" Grandma Ruth continued. "That purse didn't just have money in it, it held the future of our family." "How so?" asked Emily. The purse brought you and Victoria together, and that changed all our lives." Victoria looked at her niece. "Emily, you saved our family when you returned that purse." "How did I save it?" "You showed that even when struggling, even when you needed money, you chose to do the right thing. That made me realize how wrong I'd been about everything. And it made me realize too," said Deborah, "that we raised a daughter with real values. And it made me realize," said Grandma Ruth, "that our family is stronger than ever." Emily smiled, a little embarrassed by all the praise. "I just did what I thought was right." "Exactly," said Victoria. "You did what was right, and that changed everything." A year after their reunion, they were celebrating Emily's birthday, 13 years old, almost a teenager. The house was decorated for a simple but love-filled party. "Make a wish," said Deborah, as Emily blew out the candles on the cake. Emily closed her eyes, thought for a moment, and blew. "What did you wish for?" asked Victoria. "I can't tell, or it won't come true." "I can guess," said Grandma Ruth. "Go ahead." "You wished for our family to always stay together." Emily smiled. "How did you guess?" "Because it's what all of us would wish for," Grandma replied. That night, after Grandma Ruth went to bed, Deborah, Victoria, and Emily stayed in the living room talking. "You know what I've noticed," said Deborah. "What?" asked Victoria and Emily. "That we're happier now than we were before, even with less money, even with more responsibilities." "Why do you think that is?" asked Victoria. "Because we're complete," Emily answered. "A family only works when it's whole. And because we've learned that what matters isn't what we have, but who we have beside us," Victoria added. "Exactly," Deborah agreed. "Aunt Victoria," Emily said, "can I ask you a serious question?" "Of course." "Do you regret losing so many years away from us?" Victoria thought carefully before answering. "I regret wasting time, but I don't regret the path that brought me back to you. Maybe I needed to go through everything I did to learn the value of family. And now? Are you happy?" "Today, I'm the happiest person in the world. Even living in this small house, eating simple food with no luxuries. Especially because of that, I've discovered that real luxury is having people who love you." Deborah stood up and hugged them both. "I love you both so much." "I love you too," said Victoria. "And I love all three of you," Emily added. "And Grandma too." 2 years passed. Emily had earned the scholarship and was excelling in high school. Deborah had been promoted at work, Grandma Ruth remained strong and healthy, and Victoria had discovered a new passion, teaching cooking classes for women in the community. "How did you come up with that idea?" Emily asked one day. "Talking to the neighbors," Victoria replied. "I realized many women wanted to learn to cook better but had nowhere to learn. And you decided to teach them. Why not? I've learned so much here at home. I can pass that knowledge on. Is it working out?" "Very much. And the best part is, I'm not charging anything. It's my way of giving back to the community that welcomed me." "I'm proud of you, Aunt." "Thank you. You know, I've found that helping others makes me feel really good." "It's because you have a kind heart," Deborah said, joining the conversation. "It was just lost for a while." "I was lost, but you helped me find my way." That afternoon, the three of them visited the grave of Deborah and Victoria's parents. It was something they did every month to keep their memory alive. "Do you think they're proud of us?" Victoria asked. "I'm sure they are," Deborah answered, "especially because we managed to come back together. And because we've learned that family is forever," Emily added. "Even when we make mistakes, even when we hurt each other, family doesn't give up on family," Victoria said. "I learned that the hard way." "But you learned," Deborah said, "and now we're here together." On the way home, they stopped at the bakery where Emily always bought bread. "Mrs. Parker," the baker greeted her, "how are the cooking classes going?" "Very well, Mr. Frank. Your daughters are dedicated students. They come home excited, wanting to cook everything they've learned. I'm glad to hear that. You've changed our community, you know. Now all the women want to learn to cook better." Victoria smiled, feeling useful and loved. "It's a pleasure to help." When they got home, they found Grandma Ruth in the living room, flipping through an old photo album. "What are you looking at, Grandma?" Emily asked. "Pictures from when you were little," answered Grandma Ruth, referring to Deborah and Victoria. Victoria moved closer and looked at the photos. She saw two smiling girls, hugging, playing in the backyard of the same house they lived in now. "We were happy," she said. "You were," confirmed Grandma Ruth. "And you are again." "It's true," said Deborah. "We're happy again." "And we'll keep being happy," said Emily, "because now we know family is the most precious thing in the world." 3 years later, Emily was in her senior year of high school, studying hard for her college entrance exams. Victoria had expanded her cooking classes and now also taught financial literacy to women in the community. Deborah had become a supervisor at the hotel and was very fulfilled professionally. And Grandma Ruth at 96 remained the heart of the family. "How are you feeling about the exams?" Victoria asked Emily. "Nervous, but confident," her niece replied. "I studied hard, and I know I did my best." "It'll be fine," Deborah said. "You're smart and dedicated." "And no matter the result," Victoria added, "we're proud of you. Thank you. You're my support, my strength." On the day of the entrance exam, the whole family walked Emily to the university gates. "Go with God," Grandma Ruth said, making the sign of the cross on her great-granddaughter's forehead. "Take a deep breath and remember everything you studied," Deborah said. "And remember, we're all cheering for you," Victoria added. Emily walked in confidently to take the test. Hours later, she came out smiling. "How was it?" the three asked at once. "I think it went well. The test was hard, but I answered everything." "Now we wait for the results," Victoria said. "And pray," Grandma Ruth added. 2 weeks later, the results came out. Emily had placed first in the medical school admissions. The celebration at home was small, but full of joy. Neighbors came to congratulate her. Victoria's cooking students brought sweets, and the manager of Deborah's hotel sent flowers. "I'm so proud," Victoria said, hugging Emily. "You did it." "We did it," Emily corrected. "Without you, I'd never have gotten here." "You got here through your own effort," Deborah said. "We just supported you. Your support was everything, especially after Aunt Victoria came back into our lives." "Speaking of which," Victoria said, "I have a surprise for you." "What surprise?" Victoria handed Emily an envelope. "What's this?" "Open it and see." Emily opened the envelope and found a document. It's the deed to a house. "It's the deed to your future home," Victoria said, "for when you graduate and want a place of your own." "Aunt Victoria, this is too much." "It's not too much. It's the least I can do for the niece who taught me the true meaning of honesty and family. But I don't want to be far from you." "You won't be," Deborah said. "The house is on the same street. You can have your independence and still be close to family." "It's perfect," Emily said, tears in her eyes. That night, after all the guests had left, the family gathered in the living room as they always did. "You know what I keep thinking," Grandma Ruth said. "What, Grandma?" "How much our lives changed since the day Victoria came back." "Changed for the better," Deborah said. "Much better," Victoria agreed. "I discovered I had a wonderful family I'd lost because of my pride." "And we learned that family can forgive and start over," Emily said. "It can grow and grow stronger," Deborah added. "And it can become the most precious thing in a person's life," Victoria finished. Emily looked at the 3 women she loved most in the world. "Can I make a confession?" "Of course," they all said. "When I found that purse on the street for a moment, I thought about keeping the money. We were going through so much hardship." "And why didn't you stay?" asked Victoria. "Because my mother always taught me that honesty is worth more than money, and because I knew I couldn't live with that guilt." "And it was the best decision of your life," said Victoria, "because your honesty saved our family." "How did it save us?" "If you had kept the money, we would never have found each other. I would have remained lost, you would have stayed without support, and our family would still be broken." "That's true," said Deborah. "Your honesty is what brought Victoria back into our lives. And my return allowed me to discover what truly matters in life," said Victoria. "Which is family," said Grandma Ruth. "It always has been and always will be family." 6 years later, Emily was in her 5th year of medical school, almost a doctor. Victoria had become a pillar in the community, teaching not just cooking but life values. Deborah had started her own cleaning business and was doing very well financially, and Grandma Ruth, at 100 years old, remained the wise matriarch of the family. "Aunt Victoria," Emily said one day, "I need to tell you something." "What is it?" "I met a guy in college, Michael. He's very special. And I'd like you all to meet him." Victoria smiled. "Of course we want to meet him. When do you want to bring him over? Next weekend? Perfect. I'll prepare a special lunch." The following weekend, Michael came for lunch with the family. He was a humble, hard-working young man from a modest background like theirs. He was charmed by the warmth of Emily's family. "Wow," he said after lunch, "you have such a wonderful family." "Thank you," said Emily. "They mean everything to me. I can tell, and they love you very much too." "Michael," said Victoria, "can I ask you something?" "Of course, Mrs. Parker." "What are your intentions with our Emily?" Michael blushed but answered firmly, "I plan to marry her if she'll have me and take care of her the way she deserves." "And do you accept our family? We're simple, we're close, and Emily will never drift away from us. Not only do I accept it, but I'd love to be part of this family." Victoria looked at Deborah and Grandma Ruth, who smiled in approval. "Then you're welcome," said Victoria. A year later, Emily and Michael married in a simple ceremony at the neighborhood church. The house was decorated for the celebration, with Victoria's cooking students helping with the treats. "How are you feeling?" Victoria asked Emily before the ceremony. "Happy, very happy." "Nervous?" "A little, but I know this is what I want. Michael is a good man. He'll take good care of you." "I know he will. And you'll always be my main family." "Always," confirmed Victoria. "And now Michael will be part of our family too." "Our family is growing," said Deborah, joining them. "And it's wonderful." "And it'll grow even more," said Grandma Ruth, walking up with her cane. "Who knows, maybe we'll have great-grandkids soon." They all laughed. "Easy, Grandma," said Emily, "one thing at a time." The ceremony was emotional. As Emily walked down the aisle, Victoria remembered the 12-year-old girl who had returned her purse years ago. Now she was becoming a woman, a doctor, a wife. "Are you proud?" asked Deborah. "Very," replied Victoria. "Of Emily, of you, of our family." "I'm proud of you too," said Deborah, "of the woman you became after coming back to us. Thank you for forgiving me a second chance. Thank you for coming back." 2 years later, Emily graduated from medical school. The graduation was a deeply moving moment for the whole family. "Dr. Emily," said Victoria, hugging her niece, "that sounds so good. Thank you, Aunt, for everything. Without you, I never would have finished school. You did it through your own hard work and dedication. With your support, with all our love. So now what? What are the plans?" "Michael and I are opening a practice here in the neighborhood. We want to serve our community." "How beautiful," said Deborah. "Giving back to those who helped you grow." "Exactly. And I'd love for you, Aunt Victoria, to help me." "How?" "By teaching nutrition to the patients. You know so much about healthy eating." "It would be an honor," said Victoria, "working with my doctor niece." That night, the family celebrated at home. Grandma Ruth, now 102 years old, was a little frailer, but still sharp and engaged. "Grandma," said Emily, "are you proud of me?" "Couldn't be prouder," replied Grandma Ruth. "You've fulfilled all our dreams." "How so?" "You've shown it's possible to succeed in life without losing your values, that you can grow without forgetting where you came from. I learned that from all of you, and you'll teach it to your children." "I don't have kids yet, Grandma." "But you will, Grandma." Ruth smiled. "And they'll have the closest family in the world." The end of the story. And you, what did you think of this story of reunion and forgiveness? Share in the comments which part moved you the most, and whether you believe Victoria made the right decision by returning. If this story touched your heart, Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more heartwarming stories like this one.